Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2019 Honda Civic Sport. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Honda Civic Sport because of that manual transmission I just mentioned. Finding regular non-performance vehicles here in 2024 with a manual transmission is getting harder and harder, so oftentimes buyers have to go to the used market, and so today I'm going to share with you the Honda Civic Sport with the manual transmission. Huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me take out their Honda Civic Sport. We'll talk more about them at the end of the video, and their info is down in the description. As well as if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zachpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2-liter under the hood. Well, that is the base engine. This car is a very basic version of the Honda Civic from 2019, and so it doesn't make a whole ton of power. It's very simple. However, I think that's actually a big benefit of the engine. It doesn't have a turbocharger, which Hondas of this era that were turbocharged, the 1.5 turbos found in the SIs, had oil burning issues and oil dilution issues, and so you can kind of avoid that by getting this 2-liter. Now, it's not all of the might in the world. You're not going to spin the world backwards when your wheels touch the pavement, but I think it offers a decent amount of power, and more importantly, it offers reliable power for many, many years to come. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed manual. If you've never driven a manual Honda, do yourself a favor and do it. I know that's easier said than done. Not everyone knows someone with a manual Honda, but it is absolutely amazing. The shifter throw is fantastic. It's nice, it's clicky into gear. It has a little bit of weight to it, but it's not too heavy. It's not restrictive. And overall, I've driven literally over 1,000 cars here on the channel. I think 1,400 cars. And Hondas time and time again have the best shifters, best clutch feel, and that reigns true here for the 2019 Honda Civic Sport. Last but not least, it is front-wheel drive. There is no all-wheel drive Honda Civic in the United States as of now. And how does it feel to drive the Civic Sport? Well, like I said, that manual transmission is absolutely lovely. Visibility is good. It could use a little bit more sound deadening, but not the end of the world. Steering is nice and direct, and overall, for a well-driving modern car that isn't a crazy performance model like the Type R or SI, this is the bee's knees, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful. It's such a peach, and I love it. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 3 gauge areas. Off to the left is my coolant temperature. Off to the right is my fuel. I love how these look like red health bars in a video game. And in the center, I do get a digital screen. Now, I will switch through some digital things here, but I do want to note the cleaning product that is sort of fogging these gauges. I don't know why. This seems to be a Honda and Volkswagen issue, but whatever plastic they use for their gauge clusters seem to be really sensitive to certain cleaning products and can fog up like so. So just a word to the wise, be very careful when cleaning your gauge cluster. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our selector dials, volume, information, and phone options. And off to the right, we do have our adaptive cruise control, which does work here with the manual transmission. The overall steering wheel is leather wrapped. I think it's decently nice, and it's held up okay for 68,000 miles. Off to the left, we do have our climate vent, pre-collision warning, traction control off, and lane keep assist. And moving on to the door, we just have our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows, as well as our power trunk release down below. Moving into the center, 2 climate control vents with the hazard switch, and our infotainment system. This is now the more dated, older Honda system. I've never loved it. I don't hate it for any specific reason. It's just not the easiest to use. It's not the most visually pleasing. So overall, I tend to forget that this system exists most of my days. However, we do have a backup camera, and here is what that looks like. Down below, we do have our climate controls. So the Sport is a lower trim level, so we do not get dual zone climate, but we do have auto off to the left, fan speed off to the right. That's pretty much it. Then we do get a cubby down below with a little access to the bottom cubby, the little shelf down there that has like the USB and audio inputs down there. But coming back up, we do have the shifter. I think the shifter looks presentable. A leather shift knob I think would look cool, but very functional. This is more of an economy manual. And off to the left, we have our brake hold and power parking brake, and off to the right, we have our econ button. Then we get several tiers of cup holders. So we have this upper movable tier, which fails the big friggin' bottle test, but you you move it aside and you get a larger one down below, which does in fact pass. So a manual transmission vehicle that will pass the big friggin' bottle test is not something you find every day, but the Honda Civic Sport from 2019 does. The armrest just leads into this giant cavity where the big friggin' bottle is, and we'll talk about the seats. They are cloth. They are very, very basic. What you would imagine a base model Honda Civic seat would be, that's exactly what they are. They're manual, they're not heated or ventilated, so that's that. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2019 Honda Civic Sport, and a couple of things to note. First of all, these seats are way cushier than I would have ever imagined for an economy car. I mean, this center portion feels like memory foam. I know it isn't, but it just feels like that. Other than that, no crazy amenities. I am 5'11" and not a small guy. My knees are not hitting the seat in front of me. My head is not hitting the ceiling. This is also a cornerstone of modern Honda Civics, 2024 Honda Civics, if you're watching this during the time of its release. If not, whatever. Modern Civics are very, very good at their backseat space and you know what? Honda in general, the CR-V is great, the HR-V is great, the Passport's great with the back seats. So back seat space in Hondas is usually pretty good, and that carries through here. I don't get a center console. I just noticed. That's a little economy, very basic. No climate vents. And I have power windows, thank Lord. But other than that, yeah. Anyway. Let's hop out and we'll see what's going on in the trunk. All right, so we're on the back of the Civic Sport. We do have a trunk button here on the key fob that will crack it ever so slightly. Just come down here and grab it. Obviously the floor mats, because this is a used vehicle, don't want to dirty those up for the next buyer. However, very, very wide opening. Really want to take note of that. And it is decently deep. So I would say in the trunk category for an economy car, for a Civic, of course, this obviously isn't the Accord, which is bigger. I think this is a really good amount of size for a vehicle of this stat and in this class. So that is the trunk space of the Honda Civic Sport. We can pull it right back down. There we go. Now we got to talk about the looks. And I really like this generation of Honda Civic. A lot of people don't, and that's okay. Everyone has their own taste. When this came out, I was in college, and so, you know, I saw these all around. A bunch of my friends, like, this was the era where my friends were starting to buy their first, like, new cars. They weren't just hand-me-downs from our parents. My friend Felix owns a SI version of this car that you'll see a lot at the end of this video. And overall, I think they really look good. I think they are kind of aggressive, maybe a little bit too aggressive for being a Civic, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy with it. However, with all of this being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Honda Civic Sport from 2019 as, oh, you're not gonna see him. Passing on my right side is a Civic SI. I'm in a measly, just manual. Here's the thing, car drives great. Car is really fun to drive. I don't know why I'm saying it like I'm not an English speaker. Car good, car nice, car well. I really like the driving experience. For an economy car that isn't so sport-based, to have a manual transmission, I think this does that very, very well. It's a very pleasurable manual. It's easy to drive. It's easy to live with. And someone searching for that manual transmission lifestyle without the red-bloodedness that comes with performance cars, this is a great, great, great car. Please seek one out and buy one immediately, not only because of that manual, but the 2-liter NA engine, fantastic, reliable. This car is going to last you a very long time. But this raises the question of the Civic SI. What's the big difference? Should you seek out an SI over this car, or is this car adequate enough? Here's my honest opinion. I love the Civic SI. The Civic SI is great. And if you can find one in good condition, low mileage, in your budget, go with the Civic SI. But I think 99% of your needs will be met in this. It's going to be more reliable than the Civic Si. You're going to have the same wonderful Honda shifter. If Honda changed the shifting feel between the Si and the Sport, and this was terrible and the Si was so much better, I would say get rid of this thing, go for the Si. But it's honestly not that different. This car is still a peach. And honestly, driving it at normal speeds, there's no real big difference between this and the Si. Yes, when you get on the highway and you start nailing gears and you try to race your neighbor's Kia Sedona, yeah, the Si is going to be more powerful. You're going to notice the limited slip diff, all of that stuff. But never in my life have I ever been driving around at normal speeds going to the grocery store and thought, you know what? This Aldi run would be way better if I had a limited slip diff. No. And so this checks 9 out of 10 of the boxes that the Civic Si does. Now, if you want to get up to the Type R, that's a completely different car. It's going to ride a lot stiffer. It's going to be a lot more track-oriented. So I can't really compare it to that. I would take the Civic Type R all day. But in terms of a regular car to get around town, to run errands, to go to school, to go to work, well, look no further than the 2019 Honda Civic Sport. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me take out their Civic Sport. This car is great. It's wonderful. They are wonderful to work with. I've worked with them for quite some time now. They always have cool, unique, and interesting vehicles, and I can't thank them enough. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.